price. Trade the dots, connect the line. Profits calling, it's my time. Precision move, sharp and clean. Living life on this money machine. Scalping seconds, slicing fast. Ride the wave, don't let it pass. Green and red, they set the tone. Win or lose, I'm in the zone. Trade the dots, connect the line. Profits calling, it's my time. Precision moves, sharp and clean. Living life on this money machine. Every tick's a heartbeat loud. High stakes play, I'm feeling proud. Risk and thrill, it's all the same. One more trade to up my game. Pivots turn, I'm locked and sure. Cut the losses, keep it pure. Every trend, I see the clues. I'll ride the highs and dodge the blues. Trade the dots, connect the line. Profits calling, it's my time. Precision moves, sharp and clean. Living life on this money machine.
Hello guys, hello. How's everybody doing? Somebody give me a sound check. I think we finally got it all right. We had a little bit of a snafu today because apparently the producer listed it as unlisted, so nobody could get into the room today. So I restarted the stream. We're back to the stream. I posted Kathy's video. You guys can see her video on macro. You can get the idea. It's basically kind of a really quiet week, frankly, on the macro side. Her view was, I think, if I were to summarize it, she was sort of bullish euros against pounds, bullish Aussie against Kiwi. Those are the big takeaways if you're looking at it on the FX side. From our perspective, we got lots and lots of opening price action here. Markets just totally did a V-shaped recovery. And for those of you guys who are in my room, I posted a whole brand new video, like a 25-minute video that kind of breaks down what I think is the right way of trading the whole dot structure with us. And I'm going to try to put a lot of those concepts into live format today. The most important thing that I really want to do in terms of live format today is, let me just go over here, is to show you, we're going to trade NASDAQ. This is S&P actually, but we can look at NASDAQ too. We're going to trade NASDAQ and S&P in two accounts. 110 will be the long account. 115 will be the short account. So what we're going to do is, regardless of whether the trade is a trend trade or a not trend trade, the most important thing we're going to look at is whether we have a buy signal or a sell signal in the trade. And sometimes there'll be a trend trade, sometimes it'll be a counter trend trade, but most importantly, they'll be totally segregated. So just sort of give me an idea. Let's say you start over here, you're hitting all the shorts. All the shorts are working really, really well here because this is a trend down trade, right? The longs, this one didn't work, but this one obviously worked in a counter trend fashion. What that does is it just separates risk in a very meaningful way. And of course, with the fact that I still think, let me just make sure. I think the really, really cool part is I still think I have a 90% discount in Apex. Let me just see if that's true. Let's go over here to my account. I just gotta do. Hang on a second. Always do the authenticator now, which is a little bit annoying. Sorry, let me just get the right number. 736941. I'm kind of annoyed, but I'm also happy that they put an authenticator feature in here. But if you go in here and you choose wealth charts, the critical thing is you got to choose wealth charts only, right? So let's say we do a 50,000 wealth charts buy. Very important to use the word BK save 90. That's the only way you're going to get 90% off. And let me see if that's still working. Let's hope so. What did I just do here? Code expired. All right. So we can't do the full 90, but we can do BK save, which will give you 80, which is still really, really good. Still really, really good. Okay. And there you go. You can do 50. I mean, it's still really, really good in terms of nailing down the account. I hope you guys nailed down as many of them as possible over the weekend. But that's really, really good. Yeah, D says he picked up three accounts. Really, really good deal. Regardless whether it's 80 or 90, still dirt cheap. The point being is, if you segregate the risk like you have over here, you are going to be just in a much, much better shape. The only problem right now is that risk is just flying through the wall. We don't really have any. We don't have any key accounts. I do have. Okay, so I do have a short signal in gold, and let's do that. We'll sell a little bit of gold in my 110 account. Let's just say we'll make 110 the short account and 115 the long account. This is how we'll start the day. The reason why I have a short signal in gold right now is the following. I'm actually, to be honest with you, I'm a little bit late on this trade, but and I'm probably going to pay. You guys know I absolutely hate trading gold, right? Who knows that I hate trading gold? I kind of rushed the trade. This was the trade over here. This was the trade. We had two red dots. We had red slope. This is late. Now I'm just going to eat this trade probably against me. This was not a good trade for me to take. I'm just trying to find trades for you guys. But the point being is, it doesn't really matter because I've segregated myself into, first of all, it's a tiny trade. The most important thing is we take small positions. We're just going to take 2 micro positions on this trade. But more importantly, even if it doesn't work, the next short trade is going to have a much higher chance of working, and I'll be happy to take it to take that trade when in a much more proper fashion. This one, I really rushed the trade. The trade should have been here. We had 2 red dots, red slope, and it would have already made target on this trade. Now I'm just kind of really pressing the trade to the downside, only because I didn't have anything going on to the upside. We've had a big upside move here, total V-shaped recovery in S&P and NASDAQ, and so now we just have to sit on our hands and do absolutely nothing. I'll have to wait. We have to wait for a little bit of a pause. We need to see a little bit of a sell-off in NASDAQ, a little bit of a pause in trading, and then maybe a resumption of the uptrend. Then we'll get another signal coming up. But the primary thing that we do with signals is we want 3 things going our way in a perfect setup. We want the big trend to be in our direction. It doesn't have to be, but the big trend needs to be direction. The second most important thing is we need momentum in our direction, which is the green dots to the upside. And the third thing is we need slope. But we need all of that right at the beginning of the trend. This is a very old. Fuck you. So, gold stopped me out. Rightly so. Having said this, though, so this is interesting. So this actually sets me up. We're going to go to, so we said the 110, 115 is going to be my long one, right? This sets me up for a truly legitimate buy trade in gold, because I have the big trend with me, I have the slope with me, and I have, even though I have a white dot, not a green dot, it's positive momentum. So I'm going to get in front of this trade if it holds on the gold side to the long side. And let's see, the gold has been threatening this 3,400 for most of the morning, and maybe this is going to make that run towards that level right now. It kind of, it died out 2 or 3 times in front of it, but maybe now it's really, really ready to go. And then we'll take that trade and see if it does its thing. Let's see if it wants to make that run towards the 3,400. We got 28 seconds left. If this holds the dot, then we're going to go long on gold. I mean, they just, you could sense that they're gearing up to run that run big round number here. We'll see if they're going to be able to do it. 6, 7 seconds left. Let's see. We're going to wait for the candle to close. All right, long. And the target is going to be 98.8. 98.8 on this move. Let's see if it wants to get back up there. Meantime, let's take a look what S&P and NASDAQ are doing. Not much. They're still trading to the upside. Much as I would love to take this, it's just I'm gonna be patient and wait because the trend is really, really mature here. So no setups for me, even though this looks very, very good as far as a trend goes. Okay. I'm just watching my other chart here. Oh, did we get done? No, it can't be done. Why is? Oh, because I'm in the wrong account. I'm in the. I need to be 115 account over here to show you. Sorry, I'm in a long account. Here it is. 98.2. Sorry, I just want to show you the account. Hi everybody. Hi everybody. I'm glad everybody is back. I can hear everybody in comments. See everybody in comments. So we're looking for 98.8. Let's see if gold wants to rally here through this move. So we're taking our 3 principles of trend trading: big trend, momentum, and slope, all going our way. Trying to see if we can run this for a small scalp to 98.8 on gold on the long side. Here's the contracts right over here on the ladder, and it gets done, and we get done on the move here, almost. Nice big moves, but kind of just lifted all the way up. 99 seems to be a big resist, so we were kind of lucky to get in front of that level. But again, I think the really, really big story here is that they're going to bust the 3,400. That's really the run that they're trying to do here. So let's see if it wants to do that or not. So we'll watch that. Anyways, that trade got done to the long side, and you see the long account working. The short accounts are, much as I love to have a trade here, I just don't have any setups because the setups were over here. The long, they just happened about 10, 15 minutes ago. So we have to be very, very patient and just see when we can get the setups working here. So the interesting thing, if you guys are kind of following my stuff here, is a couple of things. I've made my targets and stops even smaller. I compress both the targets and the stops because the idea is if it's going to go, it's going to go. If it's not going to go, you want to have less of a total gross loss on your position. So in this case, it's 832 on my ticks sizes in gold. It's actually 4 points or 16 ticks against 64 ticks in NASDAQ. I went from 5 points to 4 points just to see if I can make it there. And then the gold just busted through the 399 level. And for those of you guys who are like sort of trading longer term structures, you can easily try to see if you can run the 400 level, whatever. And then for NASDAQ, for S&P, I even went shorter. I went to 3 ticks against 12 ticks. Just the whole idea is make the bank and walk away. Make the bank and walk away. Make the bank and walk away. Give yourself the highest chance of probability of success. within that, the other thing that I'm always looking at is, I was looking for, before I was saying, I want a white dot, green dot, white dot, green dot as a structure. As long as I have the slope as green, I'll take the trade on the white dot. Like over here, I'll take a trade over here on the white dot. Okay, I don't need the confirmation as long as the slope is green. If the slope is red, I can't find this anymore. Well, here, the slope is red, not a trade. Slope is red, not even a trade here, right? Doesn't really become a trade until we get over here. That's the key thing. The slope is the final determinant that moves everything around, because that's the push that takes you through. But if it's already green and you have the momentum going your way, go out there and hit it again. NASDAQ is 1664. It's 4 points against 16 points. So just multiply the ticks out, and you get the story. So the long gold trade works nicely. The S&P now is really popping up. Everything is kind of rallying in the morning. We just have to, unfortunately, we just have to watch this rally go, because we don't have the setup yet. We're looking for a retrace and a resumption of the setup. And when that happens, we'll take it. But for now, we're just going to stay very steady. Or we never know. This whole thing could die out and start turning red and start turning negative, and then we're going to get short trades. But unless we get some move, until it gets moves, we're not going to move. Generally, for those of you guys who are new, what you will see is it's basically about a 30-minute slice between a trend setup. You see there's like about 30 minutes of price action. Sometimes there's a little bit less, sometimes there's more. But the general idea is you can really see how the price action divides itself into about 30-minute waves. Now, sometimes you don't have a setup in like a counter trend wave in a stretch. Sometimes you don't even have a setup in a trend wave. Like, for example, now here you did have a setup. Yeah, because again, when I'm trading with trend, all I need is just the slope and the momentum dot, and then I'm good to go. I would have taken this trade to the short side, and it would have worked fine. But on the counter trend side, I don't know, this counter trend side also actually would have worked here. In this particular case, you would have been you had to wait until you had the green momentum, and the green slope confirmed. This was half confirmed, so not a trade. I would have been long here at what's the close on this? 76, and it went all the way to 82. You're just looking for 4 points. The whole thing here is, again, you're looking for short distance to just get yourself down, especially on the counter trend moves. You're not a lot of times you're not going to get a lot of push on the other side. So keeping it this way, this is my own proprietary indicator, and it's a 2-minute time frame that we're trading on, but it can be used on any time frame. It can be used on long-term time frames if you wanted to. It's just that today in scalping, we are using short. We're always scalping in futures trading, and so that is a proprietary indicator. If you want the indicator, it's only available as part of being part of my group. I just put the discount over here for you guys to take a look at. The discount obviously is huge. Let me put this over here. Let me put this is our huge discount, where not only am I giving you about $3,000 worth of stuff, including my indicator, including everything that Kathy does, including all the forex trading that you guys want, as well as my coaching and this. But the deal now, before the deal was like 5 free accounts. Now the deal is 3 free accounts. I give you literally 3 free wealth charts accounts to set yourself up on. Still a great, amazingly good deal. Look, we broke through 3402, like I told you. We broke the 3400. It was really, you could see it. And the beautiful part is in the indicator, you can really see them building up the steam to run the 3400s, right? Very, very clear trade of how this went down. No, white dot with green momentum can be a good trade. Especially, I mean, honestly, it doesn't have to be with a positive trend. Like, this dot is fine. I would have taken this white dot with green momentum. I do generally reserve sort of my like, for example, here's a purple dot, but it's red momentum and red trend, right? Negative trend. I'm perfectly happy to take it over here. I would have taken the stuff. I don't mind taking sort of the weaker momentum trade as long as it's in direction of the general trend, right? I think especially if the slope is in your fashion. The main thing is that you want the slopes to start going in your fashion. Right now, we just got nothing to scalp on. It's definitely a huge trend trade, but that trend trade started about 10 minutes before we started the show. So we just have to, sometimes that happens. We just have to, no, interesting. You have an interest in trading CFDs? Is there a career with trading CFDs professionally? There are people who do it, but I'm always a huge believer that whether you're trading futures or CFDs, and tell me why you want to trade CFDs, Tom. Like, what's your interest in CFDs versus trading futures? Is it because you've never traded futures, or because you're not a U.S. citizen? The great thing about trading futures on prop is that, as long as you're basically in a OECD country, you're going to be able to trade U.S. futures without any personal risk, which is amazing. Zippy, we have dots only version on Tradeovate. So it's not that we've upgraded. We actually created a whole new simplified. We have that 4.0 up there, but we've simplified to just the Tradeovate. The Tradeovate version is right here. Let me show you. My scalper here. It's called Dots Only, and it's available. It's the same thing as we have on Wealth Charts, and it's available for anybody who's part of my coaching. Okay, so you get the exact same parameters on Tradeovate as you do on this. Okay. Sorry, I don't understand your question. You watched the video with the triangles on the dots. Did you watch? I put it. Are you, Ben? Are you talking about the fact that my latest video, which I posted in day trading course, it's the first video? Is that the one you watched? Because that didn't talk about the triangles. Just clarify to me what you watched, because I don't know what you mean. You're from Australia, and I've been trading CFDs for around 2 years. All right, that's cool. Our friends at I have a CFD version of this. If you want to, let me give you. You can, if you have an account with our friends at ACAP, who are in Melbourne, you can get all of that for free. So just email me, Tom, if you're interested, and I'll let you know what the story is. Ben, clarify to me again what video you watched. Sorry. So yes, what? Yes, you watched my latest video, the one I posted over the weekend. Rick. Yeah, I think so. I mean, it definitely, honestly, all of these things are all improvements in trying to get a really, really steady P&L. The shorter targets, the quicker entry trades, but most importantly, the segregation of the big thing that sort of came out of the marathon session on Friday is you guys saw how, like, by segregating my trades, I was able to totally preserve. Like, we had a really, really ugly price session on Friday. Friday was generally a horrible session, right? And you saw how, like, basically by doing that, I was able to totally preserve all the good accounts. So, we killed one account, and then we can restart a new account. And actually, we did. And but all those accounts now are in fine shape, you know. So it's really interesting how you could, just by segregating, you know, buys and sells, you're in really, really good shape. The new videos in the day trading course. So the triangles, Ben, just simply anytime you see a triangle, that's it's called a sequence triangle. If you have a white dot, green dot, it creates a green triangle, just like you have on wealth charts. If you have a purple dot, red dot, that creates a sequence triangle to the downside. What that does is that sort of creates the classic entry that, you know, we traded. It's still a legitimate entry. What I'm trying to do is actually make it a little bit faster. Like this is a little bit of a slower entry, right? Than the one that I'm saying right now. If I have a white dot against basically the question is, do I take my trade over here or do I take my trade over here? Both of them generally will work. This one is just a little bit quicker. Sometimes, you know, being quicker really helps. Sometimes doesn't make much of a difference. But that's really the only nuance. The triangle itself is simply the sequence. It always picks up that sequence, you know, the white dot, green dot sequence, right? So that's that makes sense. No, I'm sorry. I meant Trading View, not TradeAway. They're not available in TradeAway. They're in Trading View. Yeah, it's not available in TradeAway. I have not written for TradeAway. All right, what's gold doing with itself? Gold. Okay, interesting. So gold tested the 3,400 level, right? So here we can have a little bit of fun. Gold is nowhere near a sell signal, but you know, we do have a purple dot. We have slope that is totally green. The slope needs to turn red in order for us to get a signal. So, like, for example, what you're seeing over here in this particular structure, right, is you're seeing that, you know, Ben, you were looking at here. You see how it turns, creates a triangle. It's just all the triangle is telling you is, hey, there's a possible sell sequence in play, but it's not really a sell sequence because it's not confirming the slope for us. The slope is totally off. It's still going up. We need the slope to start going down. So what I would be doing over here is I'm waiting patiently. Maybe the next candle, maybe the candle after that, we kind of get exhausted. Maybe this is sort of a topping formation for now, right? If that's the case, and I have no idea, the indicator will tell me. If that's the case, if there is a topping formation, there will be a turn here somewhere, and I'll take this to the short side. I'll take the trade to the short side if it occurs. But for now, all we can do is just simply watch carefully to see if there's any signals for us to do. Oh, that's great. I'm so glad you like the ChatGPT script. It's really, really good. It's a nice, clean, very simple transcript. So it'll be fine. Yeah, it's nice to have a trending market for a change. It's true. It's really, really nice to have a trending market for a change. The only frustration is we just have to be patient for that, you know, for the trend to give us a chance to come in and trade it. So right now, all of the potential trades that we might have are kind of all setting up on the short side into the 110 account, right? The 150, I said the 115 is the long account, the 110 is the short account. So we'll just trade it that way. So if anything happens, you know, we'll start thinking, oh, so here we have a not a signal. The reason why we don't have a signal here is gold weakened a little bit off this, you know, 3,400 level, but only now in this particular candle, it's not even there. Does the slope potentially start changing red? So we'll watch this and see if it's changes red, comes down. Gold is, by the way, really the hardest instrument to trade, in my opinion, in all of this, because it will do lots of false jump starts and targets. In my opinion, what I would, in a perfect world, the way I would trade this is I would have a long account, short account for NASDAQ, long account, short account for gold, right? If you really, really wanted to, you could do NASDAQ and S&P together because they're really almost very, very similar trade structure. But I would never really want to trade gold and NASDAQ in the same account because it really pollutes your performance. Gold is by far the most difficult one. and it's always much better. With Apex having such a huge discount, let me put the Apex discount here. Where you just you're getting 80% off. Buying 6 accounts is like what would be equivalent of buying half an account anywhere else, because you're still getting so much discounts, and really worth it. Having multiple accounts and with well charts, it's so easy to trade them because you just simply flip the account number on the drop down menu. You're good to go. It makes it super easy. Yeah, negative. A little bit of a negative move on Nasdaq. Still nothing. I mean, it's just an inkling of maybe a retrace. We'll see. So, one other interesting idea that you guys can play with is, I like to trade trend after a pause. Now, the pause usually is like a red slice, but you could be aggressive and say, the pause is just simply a counter momentum dot. So in this particular case, you have a counter momentum dot. We could trade the long side here, the 15 side, with if this candle holds, what we have here is big trend, a little bit of a pause, resumption of momentum, big trend, positive slope. We can give it a shot for a run to the upside. Give ourselves the possibility to make it go. Let's see if it works. Yeah, it does. What they don't want you to do is they don't want you to do it at the same time, because that's just bullshit. They'll see that. But if you're taking separate entry trades, there's some trades, if you, like, for example, you don't have any short trades right now. If you went short and long at the same time, that they would totally flag that and tell you that's bullshit. Rightly so. I'm just watching this thing. Is it holding? Okay. Let's see. Let's see what a trade is at. Oops, I'm gonna buy market. So again, in this case, what is my target here? It's 115. 93.25. 93.25. Let's see if there's any kind of continuation. Again, this is sort of a pause in a general uptrend. Let's see if it works, and it does work. And we took a nice little positive clip. Not a truly conventional trade, because I like to see a little bit of a red period followed by a green period, but it's definitely totally viable in a super strong trend, using the pause button, the pause dot, to then reestablish the long position. Certainly works. Certainly helps you. So that does that answer your question, GFAS? So for example, like right now, if I have a short trade, that's a completely different trade from the long trade, right? Then it's not I'm not trading. I'm taking a risk on both. They want you to take risk on both sides of the market, right? I'm totally taking a risk on both sides of the market. All I'm doing by having a short account and a long account is separating that risk. I'm just separating the risk. I'm not eliminating. So by separating it, it really helps, I think, to keep it clean and clear. Everything's still up. We got nothing much to do except just watch the trades. What's gold doing with itself? Gold not giving me a signal yet, so I don't have anything viable on gold. You can watch gold here. So here's the interesting thing about gold. Let's go back to my horrible things. What's See this? This is a white dot. We're positive momentum, positive trend. But what's the big negative thing? Slope is negative. So not a trade for us. Maybe it'll work, but it's just still not a trade. It doesn't satisfy the absolutely key condition we need, which is upward sloping. And what you see here, just from a purely price action point of view, is you certainly see, the breach of the 34s, right? And a pause. Now, if it establishes a green dot right here, right now, that becomes a possible trade for us, and we can trade that to the long side. So let's kind of get ourselves organized here. See if it wants to resume its structure. We got a minute to go before the candle closes, so we have to be patient with our move. But we're staying above the 3,400, and that's that's kind of positive. And maybe the buyers want to take it higher. So let's see if that happens. $30 seconds left. Stay very patient with this. Got to make sure that the trend holds. $12 seconds left. Long. Okay, so my limit here on gold is 4.7. 4.7. That's where I'm at. And we're almost there. Come on. We're done. And that's another classic, trend trade, right? Boom, boom. Thank you, ma'am. We're done. And it totally set up very, very clean, as you guys saw it, because we had the big trend, we had the momentum, we had the slope going our way. We took the trade. Now, whether it's going to clear the highs, that doesn't really matter to us, because we took our trade, we're gone. If you're trading for like a really, really long move, that's a completely different story. And then you may be trading with a much larger, bigger, swing low stop. That's not what I had in mind. But look, my wiggles actually, worked here on the chart. So that was pretty cool, right? Somebody give me a thumbs up on that. Tell me you guys liked it. Oh my God, thank God people are like fucking coming into the room. I had my producer listed as unlisted today, and I'm talking. There's a lot of people like on Twitter, but nobody was in the room today. And it was like the loneliest feeling in the world. Nobody was talking back to me. So give me a thumbs up. Tell me you guys like the setup. Tell me you start to understand, what it is that we're doing. A little bit of a red dot here in NAS. So again, same kind of a thing. We can see if this is a corrective move or a pause move. Either way, we can play it back. Thank you, Namika, and thank you, Peter. Thank you, Rick. Thank you, Maxie. I'm getting love from all across the world. Very nice. Very nice. Very nice. Peter, where are you? Peter, are you in Australia? Cheryl, thank you. Cheryl, did you bank that gold trade or take any of the NASDAQ trade? So to be honest with you guys, you want to do this right. Like, you want to come, trading with me and coaching with me. The first thing I'm going to tell you is don't do the bullshit that I do in live. In live, I'm doing lots of entertainment. I'm doing lots of trades. I'm doing lots of exemplary trades that are just there for you to see how the setup works, because I want you to see many sequences of it, right? But in real life, if you kind of want to really focus on just doing a good job, just stick to one instrument. My instrument of choice is NASDAQ. Yours could be anything. For some people, it's gold, which I despise, but some people really trade gold super, super well. The point being is, if you stick to one instrument and you kind of have just one instrument, two accounts, a long account, short account, long account, short account, you'll see how much easier it is on your psyche, on your P&L and everything else to be able to to kind of segregate risk a little bit, separate risk, and then run each account on its own, contingencies, right? One of the things that it does is it eliminates a lot of FOMO, eliminates, very, very necessary elimination of FOMO. 23,400 on NAS. S&P, God, I can't believe S&P is almost at 6,400. It's really amazing. All right, so we're watching quietly here again. So this is, again, I'm going into my my long account here, which continues to probably do much better today. This is again not the perfect setup, but it's good enough that if although it's not happening. Well, I thought we were going to get a green dot. If we get a green dot, this would have been a pause dot. Would have been able to take another long position. Now actually getting corrective move, right? Corrective move in S&P, but not a correct. By the way, so that puts us into the short account, which is good because we can trade the short account on the S&P, but not any kind of a corrective move that we can trade just yet, right? Not any kind of corrective move that we can trade because the slope is green here. It's had quite a lot of buying. We really need this thing, probably 2 or 3 candles to weaken it, and then if it stays weak, then it's probably going to have a good chance of correcting to the downside. The flip side of all of this is just simply a pause that refreshes, and the market starts to come back up. But it looks like the market really, what was it? It's 10:15, right? Yeah, we've had a big move here. We've had like a 2-hour move of 30 points, 30, 40 points. Oh, guys, I'll be right back. My dogs are going crazy. I'll be right back. Hang on a second. All right, I'm back. All right, so here we go. It's interesting. S&P actually is giving us a short signal. So we're in the short account here. I'm going to go 2 S&Ps. Oh, no, we're going to go 1 because this is a mini. We're going to trade the mini, not the micros. 17 seconds left. Let me make sure that I got the stops. See my 3 ticks, 12 ticks. Let's see if that works. I'm going to give this a shot. 9 seconds left. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Short. Okay. Target on the S&P is going to go back to my 110 account. 61.75. We'll see if it if it works. It obviously shorting against the trend is always going to be problematic, and that's why I'm always telling you that the best trades to take is just simply trend trades. But it doesn't matter. It's in my short account. It doesn't work. The next time I have a short, I'll resolve it. It's not gonna it's not gonna kill me on this thing. And I get stopped out because it was clearly a small, tiny little retrace. What's interesting now is that it actually sets up a nice clean long, and as you can see, the long count is just the long count, which is the 15 account. Go back over here to the 15 account. Is the trade that makes the sense for us. So yeah, this was a short against the trend, and it's never going to be as good as a long with the trend or a trade with a trend. It was a counter trend trade, but it doesn't matter because again, I put into my short account, which is actually the one that's getting hurt right now because you notice everything is positive trend, right? That's what I was trying to tell you. In a market where everything is positive trend or positive longs, the long is going to outperform, the short is not. But then eventually it's going to start correcting, and those longs are going to catch up, and you're going to be able to get back to even or to even moderately positive on the trade. Let's take a look at NASDAQ. NASDAQ, again, sending me a good possible buy signal. So let's wait here. 4, 5, 3, 2, 1, boom, long. And that puts me into I'm at 95. The exit is 99. Exit is 99. You can see it over here. And we're done on Nasdaq. And Nasdaq again, what are you seeing? All the long trades are working. The long count just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. The short account gets a little bit hurt, but by doing this is what I sort of really, really wanted to impress on everybody. By segregating my risk, right? I could care, the winning. This account is getting closer and closer towards target, which is where I want it to be, and that's the most important part. The other account, we can nurse it. Maybe we'll nurse it back by the end of the day, and maybe maybe the shorts are going to start working at the end of the day also. By doing it this way, you've separated yourself both psychologically and financially, and that makes it so much easier. In the NQ, the slope is still definitely positive. See, the slope is positive, like right over here. Let me show you guys. So this is positive trend, right? One above the other. Green slope. The slope had never once changed red. Green slope is the most bullish thing we can have. And then we have the green green dot. So all of that is what created the whole positive structure for NASDAQ for us to do. By the way, gold is just rocking. Holy shit. Gold is just look at gold. Gold took out the session highs and just keeps going. I'm wondering, like, what is the news on gold today? Why gold is so hot? But whatever it is, it's really, it's really, really taken off, right? Now, S&P, on the other hand, here's interesting. S&P is the weakest of all. And now we have, so we're going to go back. Remember I said we have an S&P short. I got to go to my short account, which is the 110 account. And we can try to do a little bit more on our S&P account here, and see if I get a trade. So I have a it's not a perfect setup by any means. I like to have the red button instead of a magenta button, but I don't know why. Oh, okay, no, it's still fine. It's still good enough for me to want to take the counter trend trade. Now this is again still a counter trend trade. I'm trying to do a little bit bigger size here because it's my second signal on the S&P. I think I have a reasonable chance here because I think it shows, finally a little bit of weakness in trend, a little bit of corrective move here. So we got 26, 27 seconds. Once this candle closes, if it still holds that dot, the slope is red, we're going to take a counter trend trade here. Five, four, three, two, one, sell. We're short 63s. The target is 62 and a quarter. Yeah, very slow price action today here on this. All right, gold still rocketing. NASDAQ is starting to correct. So with NASDAQ, if this candle gives me a red dot, that again is also a short counter trend trade. I'll take it into my short account, which is my 110 account. But so far, I don't have any signals. Wow, S&P are really not cooperating with me. The short sells on the S&P are not working. So again, I'm short 63s, 62 and a quarter is my target. We'll see if we can survive this this move here. Nope. I got stopped on the S&P again. So again, you're seeing that counter trend trades eating my lunch today, which is exactly why the best way to do it is simply trade trend trades. So in this particular case, here we are back up on the trend trade in NASDAQ, which puts me into the 115 account. And we could actually also, I'm actually just curious where the S&P is doing. S&P is also just a really, really strong trend trade. I'm going to reverse this on the S. I'm going to go to the, this is the 110 account. This is the, the 115. That's the long account. I want to be in that account. I'm going to trade trend in the S&P just to give you a little bit of a different flavor from NASDAQ. Again, to show you how in a strong trend condition, hopefully, the trend trades are the winning trades. Yeah. Yeah, you kind of have to have that account. You have to have that attitude. That's a good attitude. All right, let's see if we can make this happen here. I'm just using S&P just to change change products a little bit here. So I'm in the 115 long 75 targeting 70.50. Let's see if this puts me through here. And oh, come on. How's the NASDAQ doing? We can put the, I'm trying to put the NASDAQ in here too. And that's going to be position. Oh, I came in at 11 and it's down to 5. Okay. So the last point of all the live trading that I'm doing with you guys, and today that you can see where things are working and things are not working. Sometimes that happens. I mean, you're going to have a lot of sometimes problems early, but you can try to repair later. The other thing that's making it difficult here, for example, for these particular trades, is that they're kind of mature. You see, these two trades they're all with trend. The trend is already kind of mature, right? We had a massive recovery over here. It's old, so inevitably, the trend trade is going to start to fail. Now, what's interesting is we're going to go see if the counter trend trades now, if the trend trades fail, if the counter trend trades then come in and come help us out. It's still, right now it's in a pause mode, but eventually it's going to sort of even out and start to come back to the downside. And then we can, the short accounts are going to start to catch up to the long accounts. But it's always, it's always a very delicate balance. In a perfect world, in the world that I trade in, I only make one trade per slope change, right? So you have a slope change here. I would have made one trade here and done pretty much nothing else, and just simply waited. But I can't wait with you guys for 3 hours because you want to see trade setups, and I want to show you various ideas of trade setups. Much more importantly, because I'm trading small. None of this is going to, all of this I'm going to be able to come back and recover from if it doesn't work. But more importantly, I want to get you into the mode of trading trend, slope, momentum, because once you kind of get the setup, the actual selection will be very easy for you. And then you just simply do 1 or 2 trades, hit those trades, and just be done with it, and just kill it. But I'm doing lots and lots of trades here because I want to show you lots of examples. The more trades I do, the more errors I'm going to make. It's just inevitable of the beast. That's the rule of trading. The more trades you do, the more mistakes you're going to make. But I don't mind doing it with you guys because I want to show you as many setups as possible. All right, 70.50 on the offer. Can we get the 70.50? Can the brother get some help here? 70.50, come on. Man, it's slow, huh? Well, the way I want to trade trend, finally, that takes me out. So, the way I want to trade trend, in this case, honestly, actually, this was a legitimate trade because you had a little bit of a red slice here. So it was totally actually a legitimate trade to take this trade to the upside. And it did validate me. I mean, it's interesting how I always sit there and I bitch, but if I stick to a process, the process almost always validates me. The true process that you want to be looking at here is you want to, if you're trading trend, you take the first trend trade that works for you. Then you have to have a red slope, green slope change. Once you have a red slope, green slope change, then you have a resumption of trend. That's what you're trading. All those components come in. I think the reason why I was so confused was because I was trading NASDAQ here, right? NASDAQ had literally no pause whatsoever. Although I guess you could make this was a pause. This is like a very lame ass pause. And that is why I pushed myself, because this is like the 3rd or the 4th trade in an uptrend. And he clearly needs a little bit of a pause here. Still problematic, still not really clear if we're going to be able to get the NASDAQ trade done. But at least we got the S&P trade done to the upside. We'll see how that goes. Meantime, let's just take a look at gold, see what gold is finally starting to see a stall of momentum at this 10 to 12 level. That's nowhere near where we need to be done. Done finally, Namika says. What are you doing oh yeah, we're finally done in NASDAQ. Jesus, sorry. No, I'm not done in NASDAQ. I'm still putzing around here. Why am I putzing around? What's my NASDAQ? You know what? Screw it. I'm just going to flatten out. I'm going to just flatten out on this trade. I want to preserve the very nice. We're up a couple of $100 on my long count. This was around 5.2, and it's now 5.4 when we started, which is exactly what you want. You want the this positive P&Ls. This was kind of a problematic trade for me, anyways, in terms of entering. But here's what I want to do. Kind of like now we're going to go back to the short accounts. Where's their opportunity on the short side? Maybe finally we get an opportunity here on the gold side to the short side if this if we start to see a stall of momentum and go to the other side. Let's see if Nasdaq also. But no, S&P is all good. All of these guys are just kind of popping back up to the upside. But gold is the one that looks the most promising as kind of a short trade idea. So I'm going to go back to my short account here and see if we can catch a little bit of a move here in gold. It'll take at least a couple of candles. What we need in order for us to have a legitimate counter trend short trade in gold is we need a red dot, red slope, right? No, we don't even have any of that just yet. It looks like Nasdaq finally would have hit my target. I'm watching it out of my other computer. It finally, ran up there to do its thing. But you get the idea. It's like waves, right? We're watching waves. The positive waves with positive trend, those are the best waves, and those are really the only waves we want to be taking. And we get those, we catch the wave with momentum and slope, and we put ourselves into usually a very winning position. On a counter trend side, it's like fighting the ocean, right? We're fighting the waves. It's always a lot harder, but sometimes when you hit the crest, the thing really starts to break. It really, really makes it pretty easy to trade it. Sorry, what looks like a breakout trade, USA? Which one are you looking at? On gold? Gold looks like a breakout trade. It may very well be. May well be. I don't have any indication that this is a short just yet. S&P higher, Nasdaq higher, everybody's higher. It's a relentless trend up, and we were able to, catch the uptrends in this move. Gold's still stalling on this 411, 412. Let's see if the profit takers, start to come in. Maybe not. Still trading the highs. S&P at the highs, Nasdaq at the highs. Everybody running. But I'm really interested in, to see if we finally get. It's early, but I'm waiting to see if I can get some short opportunities here, because that's looks like going to be the next wave that we can look at. Big extension too. Look at this move here. I mean, the other thing is you sort of can handicap trends during the day by duration, right? It's not that it always works. You can have sometimes incredibly long trends of like 6-7 hours, but generally most trends, sort of the way we handicap them, after 2 hours, really, really look for even a small correction. So this has been from 9 to 10:30, about 90 minutes. So it's been, quite a long time for a trend here. Yeah, that's the E-mini gold futures, correct. It's not it's the E-mini, not the micros, it's the minis. GCQ 2025 is the August. That's the front month that gold is trading. So where are we at on the S&P? We got green slope, so no trend. We have purple momentum button to the downside. Still very, very, very early. Nothing really kind of setting up. And again, here's the thing that I need to warn you about counter trend trades. This is why counter trend trades are always so much more treacherous. Remember that they're always coming from the top, right? And they always have less direction than the trend trades. So it's very possible that, we're going to be waiting patiently here. The next candle will be the red candle with a red slope. And that's all she wrote. Like, there won't be any more continuation after that. We could, it's very possible that we could sell the bottom on this thing again. That's the treachery of counter trend trades. That's why you want to really have like a counter trend account that you really don't care about blowing. And that's the beauty of having lots of accounts that are cheap. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Or if you really have the discipline, you just don't trade counter trend. Like, there's no real reason to do this. The reason I do it with you guys over here is to show you that it's possible to trade counter trend, and also because we want to create more trend, just to show you, at least if you're going to do it in the best possible technique that you can, which is with all the variables lining up in your direction. So like right now, slope finally starting to turn red, but we don't have a red button on the move here. But this is not if this thing drops to like 68.50, taking out the lows, giving me the dot signal, it's not the worst of all trade setups. It's certainly better than just randomly shorting it. How's NASDAQ? NASDAQ still up. Where's gold? Gold is just, you're right, man. Who said, you'll say, were you talking about gold when it looks like a breakout? Gold is just, there's nothing stopping it right now. But what I want to show you is, look how good the indicator is at not making you do stupid things, right? Like the whole idea of like me saying, oh, I think gold looks exhausted. So we all have those feelings, but we did not have a signal. That's the key thing. I love the fact that this thing keeps me out of a lot of stupid trades. And that itself is worth it. The first stupid trade to take is a counter trend trade. Let's just kind of like, get out of the way. But the second one is just to try to pick a top. And this thing for sure keeps you from trying to pick a top, because it has a very definitive sequence of when you can trade this thing against trend. I know all of you guys are going, how come you're not trading this? You're not trading this? Well, because there's no way to tell that gold is going to, unless you are a pure breakout trader and you use this as a breakout structure and you really bet on the fact that it's a breakout. There's no way. I'm not that trader. I'm, a short-term trend scalper. I had no idea that gold was just going to take out, I knew it had a strong chance taking out the round number. I had no idea it was going to run for another $20 after that. And if you said you did, you'd be guessing too. It's not, you'd be lying if you said you knew it. Okay, here we go. S&P finally showing me a little bit of weakness, not enough to give me a signal. But if I get a red dot here, that is a signal that I want to take. I'm in my short account, so let's see what it wants to do here. What about NASDAQ? NASDAQ is just doing nothing. One of the things I don't like, and one of the things that I'm always very, very cautious about, is if NASDAQ is not really showing me a sell signal and the S&P is, it's really not great. You want both indices to confirm, because this is basically market in tandem, either buying or selling. And right now there's just sort of very tepid signal of selling in the S&P against a pretty big trend. So not a lover of this trade, but if it gives me a dot, I'll go with a dot. Exactly. You know, our favorite useless pastime, trying to pick bottoms, pick tops, right? But everybody loves to do it. Everybody loves to do it. I actually, I want to be accurate here. The discount now is sorry. Let me do this right here. Here it is. Okay, 80% off. That's the correct discount. It's no longer 90, but it's still really, really dirt cheap. Do I have a signal? I don't quite have a signal. Not yet. Not yet. Not yet. Got to be patient. S&P just treading water, not showing me any weakness just yet. Let's see if Nasdaq is starting to crack. Not really. It's really, really holding big. What about gold? Gold just continues to go higher. No, no entry signals just yet. I'm just waiting on a dot. Was that Otis Redding song? Waiting on a dock. What's the name of that song? God, who's old enough to remember that? Hey, so somebody was asking me, Ben was asking me, Ben, you see what's happening now? The triangle is telling you, hey, there's a sell sequence in place. This actually is a legit sell sequence, sell signal for us, right? If it holds in here. But that's what the triangles are doing. They're kind of telling you that there's a sell sequence in place. Sitting on the dock of the bay, right? Yes, thank you. Thank you, all you old people. This is how I know that it's boomer central here. That you guys actually know. Like the Gen Zs don't even know who Otis Redding is. But yeah. Watching the tide. Exactly. Watching the tide roll. And the signal goes away. And this is a very, very key thing that you need to appreciate, which is that the signals will go away. The market will try to fake you out, and you got to just be super patient. If it's not closing at the lows, it's really not or not closing with a dot. It's really not a signal that you want to be taking. So this thing, they just bought the bottom. There's just a lot of buying momentum on the side here. Nope, no trade. Wow, gold going through to where are we at now? What price is this? 16. Man, just a beautiful, beautiful long extension. Was it USA Forever? Was that you who was saying that this was a breakout trade? It was a really, really good. What's a good risk management? P&L and stop loss. It completely depends on what you're trying to achieve. There's always a trade-off between accuracy and risk management, right? So the higher I try to go for very, very high accuracy. Therefore, I have to have a negative risk-reward ratio. If you're going for much larger payoffs but very, very poor accuracy, you go for a very different structure. It all depends on your personality, how you trade, what you do. Yeah. That was a great call. Now it looks like we're finally seeing a tiny bit of exhaustion. I thought the 11 was going to be the exhaustion. It looks like the 15 level is the exhaustion in gold. This is by no means a short, but it may be, a preamble to a short for us. What's going on with the S&P? S&P still dicking around, dude. Nothing. How do we slow down so much? I guess it's summertime. I am just like, how can the S&P be trading in a 3/4 point range for 2 or 3 minutes? It's like watching paint dry. Jesus. Nasdaq, a little bit negative. Okay. I kind of feel a little bit better about the short setup here because Nasdaq is finally starting to turn a little bit negative, but we're nowhere near where we need to be. Let's see what the S&P wants to do. So it's pretty clear. You look at the charts, it's kind of really, really clear. The indicator is sort of narrating exactly what you're seeing on the price level, that we hit this top at 675, right? We're bouncing up against it. It's clearly the market digesting this price level. Is there more buying? Is there more buying volume to come in that's going to try to push it to higher price levels? That's the open question. But if there isn't, there's going to be countervailing profit-taking volume start to come in, and we're going to try to take advantage of that. So for us, it's a matter of just watching and waiting. Okay, again, S&P, negative slope. The most important part of where we want to be with the slope, right? No slope, no hope. And then one momentum. So if I think that, I always go to your trend, momentum, slope as a 1, 2, 3, but the sequence really, in terms of proper sequence, is slope, momentum, trend, I guess, as a trick. Kevin, was a trick question? Is that what it was? That's a great song, by the way, that Otis Redding song. I got to tell you, so did I tell you guys I went to Casey and the Sunshine Band last Thursday, right? And, he was like 500 pounds big. It was just hilarious. He was making fun of himself. Great. I mean, even as fat as he was, the voice was amazing. The show was some of the best show I've seen in a long time. The lighting was good. We're going to short this NASDAQ into my short account because it's negative slope, negative momentum. Let's do it. I got about 8 seconds left here at 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then we'll turn our attention to, all right, we'll sell this. And let's see what the S&P wants to do. The S&P is a sell also. Sell. All right. Let's see if any of this works now. Finally, as we set ourselves up for these trades. Okay. In the S&P, where am I in the S&P? I'm short 67.50. 66.75 is a target in the S&P. In NASDAQ on the short side, I'm short 97.50 and 93.25 is a target, whatever. All right, so we'll see if any of these trades start to fall over. But anyways, what I was saying is, he still had the huge band, which is like really impressive. He had like a I think maybe 10-person band in it, and there's just nothing like brass and wind instruments in terms of music. It makes music sound so much better, so richer, so cleaner. All right, we're putzing around here with our trades. Where's NASDAQ? S&P 67.50, 66.75 is a target. That's what we're doing. See if if the bears can finally take a little bit of profit taking into the play. Finally done on S&P, and not quite yet on the NASDAQ. And where's my gold? Oh, gold. Okay. Much as I love to do this gold, it's really okay. I'm gonna have to be very patient. Wait on gold here, because, and it could easily totally crack me up. The reason why I don't want to pull the trigger here is you see what I want you to see this. This is actually very, very important. The slope did not turn red until this new candle is forming. You really can't remember. Slope is the most important thing. You can't rush the slope. You can't rush the slope. I guess that's an expression. So now I really have to. It's basically the third down candle, right? Lots of corrective move. And is there a danger that I'm going to sell the bottom? Of course there is. That's why it's counter trend trade is always going to be dangerous. But we give it a shot. We'll see how it plays out. Um, 49 seconds left. The gold has to really hold the dot here. And it may not. And it was very, very tempting to kind of get short here, but it just would not be it's not the right process. And you always want to trust the process, because just because you get lucky on one trade, it's about making 100 trades with as good a setup as possible. It is the worst time, Jim. I'm just, gold is just horrible, but I'm trading with you guys because, all right, so hang on a second. Oops, shit. Okay. Much time do I have? 9 seconds. This is definitely setting up for gold. Okay, short gold. Short 11.3, 10.5 is my target. Again, could I sell the bottom in gold? Fuck yes. This is just the nature of the beast, and I hate trading gold. But at least it's a legit setup. There is two things that are happening here that are proper. The slope is negative, momentum is negative. It's obviously against trend, so that's the third thing is not my way, and that's a big thing. But at least having the two things in my direction gives me some edge versus not having any edge. I can't reiterate again how much harder it is to trade against trend. And look how, we really had to be super patient to make those short trades work. We had to wait a really long time on the S&P till it set up, and that short trade worked. We had to wait a long time in NASDAQ to make the short trades work, but they did eventually work, right? We didn't take any of the trades here. We didn't take any trades here. We really, really waited. And that's absolutely critical to getting your trades done, to make sure that those trades are done. And even then, with gold, it's still going to be very problematic. But at the very minimum, if you're going to trade against if you're going to trade against trend, you absolutely want to wait until everything lines up your way to give yourself the better chance, right? Now we could actually, who knows? Now could be a corrective move all the way down to the 200 period moving average. It's always a dance in the market. It's always a wave dance. The critical thing is to just be on the right side of the wave, and to just simply stand back and not do anything when the wave isn't forming in your direction. But I'm giving you both sides of the market action, because I want you guys to see that even if you're going to do the other side of the market action, at least do it in this process, because then you'll have the highest chance of actually getting it done. Does that make sense to everybody? Are you guys hearing me on that? And gold, of course, is just dicking around against me. 11.3 is my entry, 10.5 is my target. It's really moving around. As I said, the really hard part is that a lot of times I know I'm selling the bottom. That's why I usually, first of all, I hate trading gold. But if you're going to trade gold, you really need to trade it with trend and only in trend direction. But I want to take trades with you because I want to show you just the process sequences. It doesn't really matter to me. This is the short account. We'll repair it as it goes along. What is happening now? I'm just looking at it. The equities are actually. You see how once the dam is broken, it becomes a lot easier to stay on that short side as the short side starts to accelerate. Now it's going to take probably a good 10-15 minutes for the market to correct itself before it decides, the sellers are done. Maybe we want to start buying again, or maybe we're just going to make a nice, big shape the other way. I think, honestly, Rick, the best answer is take one trade per slice, right? That's what I like to do. The problem is it's so, if the slice is like 2.5 hours, you're like, oh shit, I only made money on one trade. I could have made so many trades. That's the seduction we all fall into. But the really, really good rule is just take one trade per slice. And if you're in an Asia session, where the moves, and what Rick means by slice is when it changes direction from red, like this is a green slice, this is a red slice, right? Green slice, red slice. In Asia, you will very often have a half-hour intervals between one and the other. So you, by very nature, have those things interchange. But the real answer is just one per slice. And frankly, for those of you guys who are like doing a little bit more sniper work than just, you know, pray and spray, which is a lot of stuff that I've been doing today, you could just do one large trade per slice. Just think about it. You can do 3 trades in NASDAQ, $80 each, $240, you're done. Like, just that's it for an hour. This is a very, very doable strategy with this approach of just like, I'm going to take an hour, hour and a half, just focus on trend trades in NASDAQ, focus trend trades in the S&P, take those, kill 2 or 3 trades, $300-$400, and I'm done. And just walk away. But, you know, we are, you know, like you said, yeah, we have FOMO, we have everything else. That's why that's why separating the accounts is just so important, right? Because what you see here today is a great example where what am I looking at? Why is it? Oh, wait. What? That makes no sense. Hold on a second. Did I make the money back? Really? I thought it was down. What account is down? Huh. Okay. For some reason, I thought this account was under much bigger stress than it was. Okay, whatever. It doesn't matter. Yeah, I don't know why that. Oh, that's weird. No, that's more accurate. This account is definitely losing money. It's the short account that I kind of killed today. You see, look, the short is just not working. It's going to stop me out. It's going to stop me out. Now, first of all, because gold is positive trend, positive bid, and I sold the bottom. Like I told you, it was, you know, very, very likely. That's what me showing you my mistakes is more important than me showing you the win. The wins are almost always perfect, clean trades, right? The mistakes are trades that I'm going to tell you up front. This is not the best trade. This is not the great setup. This is just if you're going to do this setup, you're going to do it in this way. But you already, by just even considering the setup, you put yourself into a weaker position. It's almost like I'm almost kind of glad that I show you some of this stuff, because it's super easy just to show you the perfect ideas and not understand that the real art in doing this is primarily avoiding the problematic trades, the what we call, you know, type C trades. Just if you can just focus on B plus and A trade setups, which is hard for people, that alone gives you so much better of an edge than not, right? So just kind of important to understand. All right, what's going on here? NASDAQ coming back. We're coming back from the dead. Slopes are still negative, so no real trades here. But we can watch this a little bit, see if the equities have sort of bottomed out a little bit here. See if there's another long trade to go. Yeah, I mean, in you know, if you're a perfect human being and a perfect trader, you do one trade per slice. You trade only with trend, and everything else you put into like your garbage accounts, right? Like in a way, this is, you know, the 110 is the garbage account, and the other accounts are really good accounts. I'm trying to see if we have like one last setup here. I really went long with you guys today, but it was so much fun. Today was really a lot of fun to hang out with you guys, even though we had a little bit of a screw up on the link. I'm glad everybody joined up with me a little bit later. I think my gold is. I can't believe I'm not stopped out yet on gold. I'm like 1 minute away from getting stopped out. So, you know, gold clearly, again, strong trend, counter trend trades against strong trend, sucker. Sucker bets, just sucker bets, sucker bets, sucker. But you get to see it on my account. Hopefully you don't do it on your account. All right, let's see if okay, let's see if equities, now we're going to go back to the long counts, the counts that really matter. And here's the thing, by the way, like, again, just for those of you guys who are prop trading, and obviously we'll talk a lot more of this in detail in coaching. The whole point of prop trading, I think people completely miss the point. The point of prop trading is to lose prop accounts so you could win prop accounts, right? I think people kind of think of like, oh, it's, you know, it's, I need to win every single prop account. No, you don't. If you win, by winning, I mean, you fund 1 out of 3 accounts. And then out of the funded accounts, you pay out 1 of 3 accounts, right? You are still so far ahead of the net P&L. You can't even imagine. Because let's just like do the math. It's $30 to buy. So you buy 3 accounts, it's $100, right? One of those gets you know, funded, so that's, you know, $150. That's it. So now like the whole buy-in is, sorry, it's 160. Like let's say it's 160 on the whole buy-in for eval plus funded, right? So you're spending $500, $600 maximum on that whole process, right? And if you're the smallest amount of money they're paying you out is $500, but obviously if you run it to like 5,300, you are now getting paid out a couple of $1,000s. So it's like $600 for a couple of thousand. Now do that 10 times over, and now you see the, you know, the difference. And then you get better, you get better, you get better, and you know, and as you get better, you stop doing the kind of, you know. Remember, a lot of stuff that I'm doing with you is just for demo purposes. I don't do this in my, you know, I would never do this in my own accounts in the way that I'm trading with you guys. But even if you do like make all these mistakes, that's the whole point, is that it doesn't really matter if you lose 1, 2, 3, 4 accounts, as long as you're making progress on the other 3 or 4 accounts, because that's the game plan. The game plan is to nurture one of them into a full winning payout account. And if you like that approach, and that's really the most realistic approach. That's the reason why people kind of hang out and trade with me, is because I trade for you guys. I don't trade for me. What I mean by that is, like, everybody else on YouTube is like, look how much money I made. Look how much payout I did. Look how much shit I did. Who cares? Does it matter to you if somebody got $50,000 payout? What matters to you is that you got the $50,000 payout. And I'm trying always to help you achieve that goal. So this is one of those techniques that I think absolutely helps you achieve that goal. And I hope you guys like that. Okay, still negative bid on all the equities. Although S&P starting to look a little bit more positive for us. So we got positive bid, positive trend. Do we get a positive dot? Let's see if we get a positive dot. Maybe one last trade for us to do. I'm going to the into the buy account. So we're just trying to see if we get any kind of positive movement over here. Positive dot, 40 seconds left on the S&P, but let's see if it holds. Nope, does not look like it's going to hold. All right, guys, I really got to run. No more. If this trade holds, I'll leave it in your hands, guys, to do it. But I got to run. I'll see everybody tomorrow, regular time. We're gonna trade like 9:30. Okay. But I hope you guys enjoyed it. Clearly, trend trade is where the money is at. And I'll try to do just simply trend trades with one account with you. This was clearly the good account. We made some nice money in this account. And that's all that counts. That's all that really, really counts. I'll see you guys later. Thank you so much for everybody. Everybody enjoy. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Take care.